Do I feel good today? What is up, DTL Universe? It is Friday. It is Friday. Welcome into your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. We call it Driving the Line. We are live every single weekday on demand on the weekends as we head into the final 2 days of our 24 days to the NFL, the AFC West. Then we have 8 more days of division talk leading up to September 5th and the first night of the NFL and the return of DTL After Dark. Now, got a lot of housekeeping, but let's check out how we did yesterday before we get anywhere. Now, Seabass, he ain't happy. He ain't happy. Raphael, though, nailed his just like he said it would. I went 1-1 because Wyndham Clark from 100 yards sucks. And, of course, Charles undefeated once again. I will tell you this before we even get started. Golf, we've got to start partnering with these sports books. Literally went to DraftKings, BetMGM, and there was nothing today for round 2, literally 2 to choose from. We'll work on that. But do not forget, today is day number 4. You guys have been amazing. Download, subscribe, DTL, the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. We are there thanks to Pantheon and our incredible partnership. We are global now here at Driving the Line. If you follow us on the X, we post every single day around 2 p.m. Eastern time. And we have the link. You can subscribe. Everything is right there. We've got you covered. And it's just an extension of our morning show. And we dive into topics a little bit deeper. We talk about betting, but we certainly don't put any picks there. And a lot of you have loved it so far. Today, we're talking a little Eagles making a trade. We're talking some college football because guess what? It is week 0. And we have a big announcement because we're not going to follow any other brands. We're not going to copy things or not change ideas. Who would do that? But I will tell you this, that you're starting to feel the football. Can you feel it? I mean, can you really feel it? No? Producer man? Damn right. Next Friday, it is all football all the time. We'll still take care of Charles, but my main man behind all of the incredible videos, graphics here at DTL is my partner, my man AB. AB, you got to be feeling fresh coming off your 2 days off, sir.
Feeling fresh. Now, I understand, and I saw people weren't too positive about our Tennessee Titans. We're going to discuss on that one, but no, man, I'm feeling good. It's good to be back. And yeah, I know Charles is looking for that 15 seconds after that Howard Johnson Heisenberg push or whatever that game was.
Somebody said it sounded like a kid coughing when you say the two teams together. And it actually kind of does. It actually kind of does.
Brought to you by Dimetap.
By the way, the crew is everywhere. Our numbers guy, Raphael, he is in the chat. Any questions for him, he'll answer them for you in real time. But AB, I was talking yesterday with somebody, and we were talking about how the show's evolved and how we're growing and all the different places. And you know what? Somebody, and I was changing my oil. They said, don't you do something with Howie Schwab? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, yes. So they proved they watched the show. And I was thinking, as we get closer to college football, how much he would have loved, because this is our first football season here at DTL, and he would have loved it, right?
Oh, God. I mean, he would have been all over it. It was no joke. Like, when Coach would say how hard Howie Schwab worked and how much effort he put in, that's no joke. This man was literally in an ambulance sitting in horse racing picks, and Coach is like, it's okay. We've got it.
He was.
You just be healthy, be fine. He's like, no, get the damn picks on the screen.
And then when we got him wrong, boy, he would text us from dialysis. We
Even
love him.
The
How he's
internet
always,
was not safe enough for the language.
So with that being said, we always have a Howie Schwab crew play of the day. What do we got today, AB?
Going to the NFL. It's the week 3 preseason, final one here. 49ers Raiders over 32, 49ers Raiders under 32. Or you go in Dolphins Bucks at Florida showdown there over 37.5, or Dolphins Bucks under 37.5. Polls in the chat. Vote now. We'll update as we always do at the end of the show. And Coach, an announcement off of an announcement of the Football Fridays that you just had. And this isn't big. I mean, we all know it, but this is the last weekend that we'll have the on-demand shows. All right? This is it. We've got football and everything coming up, but we don't want to leave you hanging for the last one. So we're going to put it in, get them up there. But everybody understand, from now on, after this weekend, it's just regular football. And there are going to be some fun things that we put together. But just so everybody knows, like this is the last on-demand.
Don't tweet us and say, where are the shows on Sunday? We will have something for Saturday that we'll put together. And then Sunday we'll be live at 10 a.m. Eastern time is what we're planning on as soon as we get everything. But it's not going to be 2 shows. It's not going to be 10 a.m. and noon. 1 show and then DTL after dark on Sundays. Yeah. And I don't believe we're doing a full NFL recap. We're going to work everything in because the one thing we've learned as we grow, me and AB, there's only so many hours in a day. And we're going to do the best with what we got without killing ourselves. And that is something
we'll give you everything that you need, right? But it'll be absolutely efficient. Like on Saturdays, it's probably going to be a 60-second short. That's all the picks that we have. It'll literally be that. You'll have everything you need, but, don't expect like a full production show, which I think everybody would appreciate anyway, right? Quick, grab it, go.
We got Football Fridays. The Football Fridays will be where all the picks are at. There you go. All right. Greg says 26 hours. You guys are amazing. You guys in the chat are amazing. Already popping today. Do not forget, please hit that like button for us. Make it a part of your day. It really helps the show grow. All right. Enough dilly-dallying around. We've got the best crew in the business. It is time for the picks. All right, we've got rules here at DTL, and when you go undefeated yet again, then you absolutely get our first 15 seconds of the show. So my man from the dirty 1-0-1, or in soccer it's 1-1-0. You, sir, have the 15 seconds. Good morning.
Morning, Coach, crew. Yeah, I've been shout out to my man Raphael as well. He had a clean sweep also. I wanted that 2-0, but I'll take the 1 in the push. But big weekend ahead. I'm excited. Everybody's back in play as well, so ready to get it going.
You're damn right. We got Bundesliga, English, Premier League, Serie. Now, he is also live from Memphis, Tennessee. DG, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Listen, it's Friday. We got the Weekend Wager Show today live on Twitter at 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be a fun one.
And in a related story, I am also going to be spitting into the wind today. Holla. Now, the best – you don't even get that joke, but I'm sorry. He's got the best beard in the game. And we announced it yesterday that every Friday – and it's going to be up to you, Soupy. Every Friday on DTL, the podcast, college football, NFL, and we're going to throw a little fantasy into the mix. And that is just for you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm very excited. And I am going to give you my all-in player on the first episode, the guy who you need to have in every single one of your fantasy lineups this year.
Quite the tease. Quite the tease. I like it. All right, let's get into it. We've got a full slate of picks today, and we have a very simple motto here at DTL. We just want to win more than we lose. So, Charles, start us off.
The opening match day of the Bundesliga has arrived, and we have a classic Rhine derby between Borussia Mönchengladbach, a.k.a. Gladbach, and Bayer Leverkusen. They're known for high-scoring affairs, with 3 or more total goals being scored in 8 of their last 10 meetings. I'm not bucking the trend here. I'm going to go with both teams to score in over 2.5, as I expect at least 3 goals and both teams to score in this one. Once again, this is the Bundesliga, Mönchengladbach or Gladbach, Bayer Leverkusen. That goes off at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, and just making sure everyone's staying on their toes. I have a stay on your toes live play in La Liga. Celta Vigo, Valencia, both teams to score, which the both teams to score has cashed in 4 straight while being played on Celta Vigo's home ground.
And to back up Charles, as these leagues are starting, most of them will have one game on a Friday and then a full slate on Saturday and Sunday. And Bundesliga usually leads that charge, that one game at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time every single Friday. Charles, thank you very much. Now, Raphael, as always, Soupy, a bad attitude in the chat. He goes, I can't wait for that fantasy talk. Oh, he hates it. You guys are going to be like this all year long, but we got space for everybody. Soupy, I'm coming over to you. Let's just do baseball right now.
I got to go with Chris Sale. He is clearly winning the Cy Young, minus 310 on DraftKings. So if you want to maybe make a little bit of money, go with Chris Sale. He has 10 plus strikeouts in his last 3 starts, and in his last matchup against the Nationals, 10 strikeouts. I'm taking +8. I might even sprinkle in the +9 for a plus money line. So but for now, the safe bet, +8.
All right, looking for that plus money line for Chris Sale, who
Yes.
is very quietly had a fantastic year. And what's going on, AB? What's going on?
Whenever Soupy, whenever he starts to say part of his take, and then he in his head he trips himself before he says it, and then he'll stop the sentence, and then it just ends, and it's funny.
3 sentences ahead of myself, and then I have to remember the sentence I'm talking about right now.
We're gonna start calling that pulling a Soupy. You just pulled a Soupy is what we're gonna call it. I love it. All right, we'll get back to you for your second pick in a second, Soupy. All right, DG, I know you're going to be all over college football for us this year, but there is a race to the playoffs right now in the WNBA, and they cannot be ignored. We've got 2 props, an over and an under. Let's do both, sir.
Yeah, it's ladies' night tonight, and it's Angel Reese under 12.5 rebounds at -136. This might be a money line. This might not be a money line, but she's had 5 and 10 rebounds against the Connecticut Sun. And also, the Connecticut Sun allow the fewest rebounds to opponents in the league. I expect this to go under again. I know she's been a rebound junkie. She's been awesome. I just see this as being an under tonight at under 12.5 at -136. Then we're going to Courtney Williams, who has been on fire. Over 10.5 points at -125. I saw this number, couldn't believe it, so I went ahead and hit it. Since the Olympic break, she's averaging 16.6 points in those 3 games. Just against the Las Vegas Aces, she just had a game of 22 points. She averages 16.3 points per game against them this season in those 3 matchups. So we're going to go with Courtney Williams over 10.5 points at -125.
Because it's ladies' night and you're feeling right. Wow. Now, AB, something in the chat was just said that I can promise you has never in the history of time been said.
What?
Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
So a man named John Supowitz, he said, and I quote, "More Soupy merch, the better."
I agree. We need it. Doc, I pulled my Soupy. Robitussin.
All right. It's your store. You can do whatever you want. And if that shows up and somebody buys it and sends in a picture, I promise you.
We can't keep it on the shelves. We
What's
can,
that?
it's flying out of the store, left and right.
Shout out to Melanie. She's a hot coach. That's in my head now, too. I know I can't stop singing it. All right, Soupy, I got to come back over to you because this is week 0, and it's always a week slate. There's never a lot of good games. I don't know why they call it week 0, but they do. And you like one play. What is it?
Just because it's week 0, we have one showdown. Yes, DG, I'm looking at you. You got Florida State -10.5. I got Georgia Tech covering the game. Last year, 6-2 against the spread as an underdog. Covered 5 of their final 6 games last season. They're returning all of their offensive players. Haynes King at quarterback, their top running back, 2 top wide receivers, and 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. Haynes King, 28 passing touchdowns, second in the league and second in the ACC in passing yards, 700 rushing yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns. He is going to be great against a Florida State team that lost a lot of players. They lost their quarterback, their running back, their 2 top wide receivers, and 2 of their best pass rushers. Florida State is going to need time to build chemistry. Maybe they win this game, but it's not going to be by double digits.
You said that with a little. What in the world is going on over there?
This is I am pumped up for
yourself.
football. It's football season. You got to get pumped up for football season.
Soupy, you're clearly not paying attention to what's going on. You got to have the peripheral on.
You want a showdown, Soupy? I'll go.
The game's in Ireland.
So you could be on the moon. I'll take the gay or the Seminoles. Oh, let's go. Soupy.
All right, we've got our first official showdown. I'll deal with the guys on what the parameters are as well. Pulling out his best Rey Mysterio today is DG. But as you know, Sabe's Wings will be our charity of choice. We're going to roll that out September 5th. But how about a little soft launch to our showdowns with Soupy and DG this weekend? Soupy's got Georgia Tech. DG's got Florida State. And somebody, we put a little something into the Sabe's Wings category. AB, they're starting to do things on their own. I like it, starting to own their brand within the brand. It's what it's all about.
It is. It absolutely is. And boys, get those Venmos ready to go. All right. We're going to put that money right there. Get it good, set, have a lot of fun this year. But in a second, I'm going to tell you the actual real bet to place on this game. But,
Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, you want it right now?
You're up, AB.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Soupy's playing against DG. DG's playing against Soupy. I'm playing against, all right, the equator and time and traveling 7 trillion miles all the way to Ireland. Does anyone in downtown Atlanta, have they ever been to Ireland? No, none of these players have. None of the coaches have. All right, Florida State, Tallahassee, just got a bird at Tallahassee. No, they haven't been out there either. The time they're going to play, 8:30 in the morning, right? Dude, I'm playing the under. 55.5, 55 if you get it, whichever one that you get on your books, because it is going to be a very slow start to this game. Defense is going to be ahead of the offenses. Offenses are going to be changing from what we saw last year, especially Florida State. You remember that debacle at quarterback? Yeah, still dealing with it. I'm taking the under here. Those two, they can fight amongst themselves. Roll with the under. That's your play.
And I know you have 2 other plays, correct?
I do. I just wanted to let that one sit awkwardly. All right, we're going to go with the 49ers and the Raiders over 32 tonight because, speaking of quarterbacks, there are quarterbacks actually fighting for their NFL lives, Joshua Dobbs being one of them in this game tonight, and you are going to see points being scored. It's not going to come from starters, but that's why I'm glad of taking the over, because starters aren't playing because they really wouldn't care. But the guys that are fighting for their actual NFL lives, this is it. 1,200 people in the NFL are going to be cut next week. Not a joke. 1188 to be exact are going to be gone. These people are fighting for their life. These aren't guys like Christian McCaffrey. These aren't guys that have contracts. All right, this is it. It's either that or you're coming on DTL next week, which I suggest coming to do that. But what I mean by all that is this. These guys are going to be fighting for every single inch, every single yard, and it's absolutely going to matter to them more than anybody else on planet Earth. You saw the Bears last night. You saw them the entire time. Backups played, and guess what? They all balled because they want to be in the NFL. It's a very nice minimum salary. So we're going to play the over 32 on that one. And then the Nationals Braves over 7.5. If you want to play the contrarian game, because Chris Sales never had a bad game in his life, it's due at some point. But the Braves are going to score a lot of runs on the Nationals tonight. I'm banking on them to cover the over pretty much on their own. Chris Sale's a beast. He's going to win the Cy Young, no doubt.
So you got Soupy's back. Raphael has your back. In the chat, he said he's waiting for 56 or higher to pull the trigger. He also likes the under, AB.
Key number. Yeah, remember, 8 times 7, 56. Key number there.
Key numbers 3, 7, 10, multiples of 7. We'll teach you as we go along. Especially, there's a lot of new bettors out there that are coming to DTL. We want to cover everybody from the super smart bettor to the novice bettor, you can learn right here. Real quick, Charles, they are trying to figure out what you said on your stay on your toes. Can you repeat that real quick, that play?
Absolutely. Spain, La Liga, Celta Vigo, and Valencia, both teams to score. It goes off at 12 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so 12 p.m., 9 a.m. out here in the West. Now, because we are in real time, I told you guys, sometimes it pays to watch live. And despite the fact that I went 1-1 yesterday in round 1 of the BMW Championship, it wasn't because Roy played great, Big Cheesy. It's because Wyndham Clark from 100 yards dumped it in the water side spin. It was the worst shot I've ever seen a pro hit. DraftKings has just released in the last 2 to 3 minutes several different matchups. So I'm doing this in real time off of my phone. And I have 2 plays that I love, 1:20 p.m. Eastern time, 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. Xander, a little juicy, minus 165 over Patrick Cantlay. But sometimes the juice is worth that squeeze. And play number 2, Sanjay, minus 115 over Sahith Thagala. Thagala, these young cats that have not played at altitude or played in a lot of different places, they kind of struggled yesterday. Sanjay played great yesterday. So give me Sanjay over Sahith and give me Xander over Patrick Cantlay. All right. All of the picks are in. And I have a feeling we're going to have a banger of our last Friday before we get to Football Friday. But for those of you who tune in every single, you know we are knee deep. We've got 4 teams left, 20 down, 4 to go. AFC West today, and my beloved Kansas City Chiefs. Producer man. And they get it done. And my goodness, AB, what a robust win total at DraftKings, 11.5. It's juiced very slightly to the over, minus 115. It could be historic for the Chiefs this year. But we're just talking overs and unders right now. Where are you headed?
I'm going under 11.5 for pretty much exactly what you just said. Has nothing to do with the Chiefs. Well, a little bit, but I'm just playing the number. They won 11 games last year. Is that correct? And won the Super Bowl? Like,
yes.
They figured out that they're the anti-Ravens. They're like, the regular season does not matter. Like, we will be there in the playoffs and we will handle our business. So there's probably an 11-win team, a 10-win team, right? Like, I could see this offseason where Patrick Mahomes has just done everything. Travis Kelce, we don't even know what planet he's been on. Like, he's been living a life that no one else gets to live, right? So I'm just playing a number. Give me under 11.5. If they get 12 wins, I'll gladly take that loss, but I'm going to bet it every time that they come in under 11.5.
I'm so glad you mentioned Travis Kelce, because throwing my fandom out the window, I'm really concerned about the health of him and Patrick Mahomes. What I mean by that is, have all of you traveled before? We've all traveled, right? And all Travis Kelce did for 5 months was travel all over the globe, following his girlfriend, partying, bachelor parties. How in the world did he have time to work out? I don't know that. And I don't know how healthy he's going to be starting the season, because he hasn't been in the gym. And we've all seen the dad bod on Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying. So, DG, coming over to you. We've got one under from AB. Where are you headed?
I'm on the under here as well, and I honestly wanted to fade the Chiefs at every possible chance to take a shot at your team. And then I looked at the schedule, and I just fell even more in love with this number. I know it's not just a sexy number because it's not a plus money play, but you got to think of Patrick Mahomes, Kelce. Honestly, they're the 2 big guys. Their defense is really good. But how much can you be really just turned on when you've won 2 in a row? Like, the three-peat is awesome. It is sexy. But really, how much does it make you work that much harder than somebody else that hasn't ever won a championship? So I have to go on the under here, and I'm not taking anything away from them as being a really good team. I think they're great. I just don't think they get to 12 wins here.
Yeah, it does seem like motivation, Charles, could be an issue. And when you start slow, like they have had a tendency to do during the Mahomes era, if you throw a game or 2 away here or there, it's very easy to go 11-6, and that would be a loss. What say you, Charles?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over 11.5, but the first 2 games are tricky. They could start out 0-2 and then go on a run, but they get the looks like the NFC South, and in their own division, they could sweep both as well. Then the Browns, Texans, Steelers, and then that 49ers and Bills game will be key to them getting to this number as well. But I think once the dust settles, they'll get at least 12 wins.
All right, so that's 1 over, 2 under. Soupy, talk to me.
I'm going with the over. Yeah, the first two games are going to be tricky. Baltimore and Cincinnati. If they go 0-2, then this is probably going to hit the under, but I have confidence that they can win at least one of those games. They made some improvements to the receiving core. They had the most drop passes last year. They got Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are going to be two great wideouts on the outside, and then Rashid Rice and Travis Kelce can work the middle. And then you just have to remember that this defense, led by Chris Jones, great defensive front. And I wouldn't be too nervous about L'Jarius Sneed leaving because Trent McDuffie had an incredible second year last year. 4 forced fumbles, 7 passes defended. I think he's going to be great starting to cover those wide receiver ones.
It's a lot of good takes right there. A lot of good takes right there. The Chiefs have always kind of filled the holes and paid certain guys, and they've kind of put it together with smoke and mirrors, but now everybody understands. Now, AB, as we move over to the props, I'm starting with you because Maiden Focus, I believe in the chat, said he's a little surprised, I think it was him, that Andy Reid doesn't use his running backs more, like loads them up. I think it's very strategic to make sure they're healthy throughout the year, but you like one guy who runs like his feet are on fire.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco, over 6.5 rushing touchdowns. And look, you're right, and Maiden Focus is correct. I'll tell you the problem. It's the same problem that the 49ers have. You have stars everywhere. There's only one football, right? Who's he going to go to? Mahomes can run it in. Pacheco can run it in. Clyde Edwards-Helaire can run it in. You've got Travis Kelce. You've got Rashid Rice. All right. You've got Kadarius Toney, who I actually think is going to have a pretty good season. And then the backup tight end to Travis Kelce is Noah Gray. There's only one football, right? So that's why you get scared taking touchdown numbers and things like that for specific guys. But 6.5, especially when Clyde Edwards-Helaire has had injury issues, I think Pacheco is going to be the guy. And I also think that you're going to see a decrease in rushing attempts from Patrick Mahomes in the red zone. Now, he'll still run on third down, all right, between the 20s, but red zone to 20, nah, that's how you get his helmet smashed in, and that's how it ends. Hand the damn ball off to the running back. That's what they're there for. Give me Pacheco over 6.5. It's a small number.
Man, I tell you, the last 45 seconds to a minute, it explains why we always say there's football season and there's everything else. This is what it's all about, and everybody can chop it up, and everybody can have an opinion. That was an amazing minute from AB on Pacheco, but he mentioned Patrick Mahomes. So, DG, I'm coming over to you. Lately, as great as he is, he tends to force things because the weapons have not been there, which could lead to what?
Patrick Mahomes has one safety blanket, and that's it. And that is Travis Kelce. You looked at the other guys that's really honestly catching the passes from him, and he really doesn't know too much about him. I know he had Rashid Rice, and I know Tony was there, but I just think that he has no trust in where these guys are going to be. And honestly, these guys aren't great that are catching passes from him. So I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes over 9.5 interceptions. He's had 12 or more interceptions each of the last 3 seasons. And if you look at this, like I just talked about, looking at the wide receiving core, they're not awesome. It doesn't take much, especially if Patrick Mahomes is trying to throw the ball behind his back now. He's trying to look off of the defenders. I just think he's going to get a little too cute as he continues to get better and better. I just think he easily has 10 plus. When I saw the plus 100, I couldn't pass it up.
I do think with their new little wideout from Texas, if he can be as good as I think he can be, that can do a lot of things for that offense. But we know what happened with Rashid Rice in the offseason. Where is his head going to be at after that situation? So still a lot of things to figure out on the offensive side for the Chiefs. So, Soupy, let me come over to you because you're going to the other side of the football. Talk to me.
The Chiefs were second in sacks last year, just behind the Ravens. I think they lead the league in sacks this year at plus 900. Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, whose nickname is Furious George. I love that nickname. And Mike Dana Each of them actually only played 16 games. If they play an extra game, that maybe adds a sack or sack and a half each. And of the 17 games they play, 6 are against teams that were bottom 10 in the league in sacks allowed. That is going to help them push over and hit the most sacks this year at plus 900.
I can see you, Soupy, every time they get a sack doing the Chris Jones dance, just doing that. I'm going to have that in my head. It's going to drive me insane. But you know what won't drive me insane? Is knowing that Charles is the smartest person on planet Earth and found a play that I absolutely love at plus 550. Let's go.
Yeah, I was shocked to see this one. To win all their division games, they have in their division basically 2 rookie head coaches, then Minshew, Bo Nix, and then Herbert, or shall I say Abear as well. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs at plus 550 to win all their division games.
I tell you, your personality has come out so much the last couple of weeks, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so those are the Chiefs plays, and of course, we'll have all the division talk coming up in the Tuesday through the following Thursday. But our second team today, and it is the most hated team if you're anybody else in the AFC West or maybe in the NFL as a whole. But look at that brutally low number, AB, and it is juiced to the over at minus 130. Las Vegas. AB, you're up.
I love everything about the Raiders, but I just don't love them this year. I think it's going to be a tough year. I think they're looking probably right at 6 games. I'm going to take the under here. And again, I'm just playing a number because the quarterback position scares me. Really, nothing else does. Now, the running back position, we'll see, but you've got a nice stable there, right? I like the skill position guys. Obviously, you just saw Devontae there. Max Crosby's arguably the best in the league. It's just the quarterback position, man. It scares me, all right? Aiden O'Connell back there behind. I don't know what to do with it. I rock with Antonio Pierce a lot. It just scares me at quarterback, man, because if one thing goes wrong, this could be tough.
It really could be. And at this number, it just it's really a weird number, AB. I agree with you. DG, let me come over to you. Your thoughts.
As Tony in the chat just said, it is Minshew mania, baby. And I am here for the over on the Raiders going over 6.5 wins. I honestly love them to get to 8 wins here. I think this is a really good team. I think that they are disrespected in a sense. And I feel like this team really has a chance to be a surprise and honestly show up a lot of times when other teams might not be as excited to be playing football that Sunday. And so I think they're going to get to over 6.5 wins. It is a little juicy at minus 130, but you know, it's always worth the squeeze.
Did you see the video, DG, of Minshew working out to Creed?
Yes.
Did you see that? Oh,
yes.
My God. I'll go there.
Creed's coming back, I think.
Could be a Minshew year. Could be a Minshew year. Melanie likes a Shane. A lot of people. Tony says Minshew mania? ? Hey, it's DG's world. We're just living in it. All right, Charles, over, under.
I'm riding with the over 6.5 wins too. I mean, the schedule is kind to them. They get the Panthers, Chargers, Broncos. I think they can split with them at least. In the Steelers, Browns, Rams, Bucks, and Saints. So those are my projected 7 wins for them. I think Minshew and company can stumble on 7 wins. 7-10 season, 8-9 sounds about right to me. So yeah, give me the over 6.5 wins for the Raiders.
Stumble on Antonio Pierce. I worked with him for many years at ESPN. 2 things. Super, super nice dude. The other thing is I never thought he would be a great head coach. Didn't know if he would have the what a head coach needs as far as game manipulation and game, clock management, all that kind of stuff.
He's a player. He's a player.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. He's a player. That's a great line. He's a player. He doesn't think like a coach, but he was a linebacker. So I've got to have some patience with him in my mind. But he's a Raider, and I'm a Chief. So not that much patience. Soupy, talk to me.
I'm going with the over. I am not that nervous about the offense. They brought in Luke Getsky. He is great at 2 tight end sets. That's why they drafted Brock Bowers really early. I think Michael Mayer becomes more of a blocking tight end. Brock Bowers is going to be that receiver tight end. Gardner Minshew is going to be able to get the ball to Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, also because of Zamir White. They're going to lean heavily on the run game, and that means you're going to have defenses keeping 7 in the box to try to stop a man like him. That's going to give some one-on-one opportunities for Minshew to complete the ball, move downfield. And then, of course, they're going to ride that defense. They brought in Christian Wilkins from Miami to go along with Max Crosby. That is going to be an incredible pass rushing defense right there. I'm excited for the Raiders. I think they'll be better than a lot of people think. I think they could get to 9 wins this year.
If you watched Receivers on Netflix, then you had to become a fan of Max Crosby. He's kind of like it was all about Devontae, but boy, they featured a few other dudes, and Max Crosby is something else. By the way, shout out to Nate. He says Creed is great, but the Colts song guy is on another level. It's been viral. AB, have you seen the Colts song guy?
Yeah, he's fantastic. They've got one of the best mascots too. That dude's wild as hell.
It really is. They really think about everything. If you haven't seen the Colts song guy, it's just a guy. He's just himself. It's not fantastic singing, but it's entertaining, and he just loves the Colts. And at the end of the day, that's all as fans we want. Not making fun of anybody. Just be a fan, and that's all he is. I love it. All right, AB, we've got overs, we've got unders. Or overs. Yeah, you know what I mean. All right, let's go to props now because you've got a name that, honestly, I don't think I've said in a minute. Explain this to the good people.
No one has. Now, the fact we're talking about the Raiders, I do have to give a shout out. All right. Kendra Moyes Stabler. All right. The daughter of the late, great Ken Stabler. It's a friend of mine. She's fantastic. And I want to give a shout out to her. Absolutely. Because she loves the Raiders almost as much as anybody on planet Earth, man. So shout out to her. She's a really great person. The Stablers are a great family. Now, Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia. Remember him? All right. It's like if anybody read highlights as a kid. All right. You had to find the hidden pictures. That's been Brock Bowers for the last 8 months. All right. But he's gallant and not goofus. He's going to be out there catching everything. And you talk about a team that could have quarterback issues. All right. Who do quarterbacks look to, especially backup quarterbacks? The tight end. That's their safety valve. Gardner Minshew will use him as a safety valve. And I can assure you, I've seen Brock Bowers since he was, quite frankly, in high school. He was NFL size then, and he's NFL size now. The dude's a beast. Take him over 4.5 receiving touchdowns. He can run them in. That's the scary part, but not in the NFL. He'll be catching.
All right. So AB's going on the offensive side. Jeff in the chat says Soupy is pumping up the Raiders like they don't actually suck. Shout out to Z-Man. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, though. Doesn't agree with you, Soupy. But you are also, sir, staying on the offensive side of the ball, just like AB. Where are you headed?
I believe this is going to be a heavy run offense. I'm going with Zamir White. I was considering him as my all-in player because I do love him this year. There's the potential for 300 touches because in the final 4 games where he took over that backfield, 17 carries, 22 carries, 20 carries, 25 carries, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. He is going to get over this 800, possibly 1,000 yards this year.
And a lot of those games on West Coast time. So a lot of those numbers you won't even realize until all of a sudden he's at 600-700. AB, by the way, a lot of the chat's agreeing with you. Jared says Bowers is a beast. Scott says Bowers rookie of the year. So they are backing you up. Matty Ice says Bowers is going to line up everywhere. They got you.
One, I love that. And number 2, go back after the show. All right, YouTube. Georgia used to run him from the backfield. They'd have this dude out taking pitches like he was Derrick Henry, and he's faster than everybody. This guy is a monster, man, 100%. And he's fun, too. Yeah, he loves to block. Like, it's a passion. He's an old school football player, dude. He's great.
Kind of like George Kittle. I didn't realize how much George Kittle liked to block until I watched receivers. Kind of like Bowers. All right, I just learned more about Bowers in the last 2 minutes than I've ever learned in my entire life. So, AB, thank you for that. Now, your cohort, well, actually, DG's cohort in crime, Charles, Big Cheesy says Max Crosby will be the defensive player of the year. And in order for him to do that, he will have to do what, Charles?
I think Max Crosby gets at least, I'm hoping he gets at least 20 plus sacks at plus 900. Mad Max had 14.5 last season, and I think he even missed a game. And then Christian Wilkins coming in should bolster that line as well. So, and plus I expect the defense to be on the field plenty as well. So give me Mad Max Crosby to get at least 20 sacks in this season.
Mad Max, I don't care if you hate the Raiders or you don't. This dude you got to respect is one of the greatest in the game today, if not the greatest. Now, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. DG, you're up.
Coach, you just talked about respect. There's a lot of disrespect coming on against Robert Spillane. I think he is an animal. The dude is he's the anchor of the defense for the Raiders. And I want to go with him over 120 and a half combined tackles. It's not sexy play, but it is a fun play to look at. He spent the last 4 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers until this previous season where he had 148 combined tackles. Yes, 28 more than the actual number. So I love this here for a guy who his head coach is a former linebacker, loves him. The guy will be all over the place. So go with Robert Spillane for over 120 and a half combined tackles and assists.
Boom and boom. AB.
Every time I hear the last name Spillane, it reminds me of Full Metal Jacket. Who are you? You think you are Mickey Spillane? Shout out Arlie Ermy.
That is so funny. By the way, I love when people pick every single word apart and when I actually say something intelligent. By the way, DG, you need to talk to your boy off to the side. Big TG says, wow, Coach, that's when you figured out Kittle liked to block, a Netflix show? Laugh out loud. I said how much he liked to block. Everybody knew he liked to block, but if you watch Receivers, he talks about it and why it means so much to him and why he takes so much pride in it. I said how much. We all knew that. But apparently, those of us at DTL crew are doing the work, and you're just out here making fun of people. That's your boy, DG. That is your boy.
We'll talk after the show.
You're damn right you will. By the way, shout out to Aaron Bailey. Good morning, fellas. I finally caught you all live. I've been watching shows in the afternoon. You all continue to brighten my day, guys. Thank you so much for that. Aaron, thank you for the note. That's all we start and end with how can we brighten people's days as you head out into what is a very difficult world these days. That's where we begin and end. All right, gentlemen, we are down to 2 teams left. We'll do the final 2 on Monday, and then we will dive into the full divisions starting on Tuesday. But as you know, we are getting closer and closer to August 30th. And also, for those of you who weren't here at the top of the show, we got you covered in a very small way. The Whip Around, brought to you by Reagan the movie.
Welcome to your life.
You can run from a bully for so long,
There's no
but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him.
What did the president know, and when did he know it?
I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wants to rule the world.
All right, this is the fun portion of the program, and I believe it was Raphael that said Aaron Judge would find the short right porch, and he absolutely did that. And now look today, that number is dipped below plus 200, just like our numbers guy said that it should be. Marcelo Ozuna plus 325, Kyle Schwarber plus 375, Juan Soto also of the Yankees, and Francisco Lindor of the other New York team. Charles, who's going to go the yard today?
I'll go with Juan Soto. Give me plus 400 against Kyle Freeland in this matchup against the Rockies. So for show purposes, Juan Soto plus 400.
Boom. Soupy, talk to me.
I'm big on Marcell Ozuna today, and you'll see why if you're a crew exclusive member. So for the home run, I'm going Marcell Ozuna.
Soupy teasing himself. DG, go.
I'm going to go with Juan Soto as well, plus 400. He's had 2 home runs against Kyle Freeland, one of each of the last 2 seasons. So we're going to go with Juan Soto here at plus 400.
AB, you got one of your boys up there.
So first off, I was going to take Dennis Quaid from the Reagan movie. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I thought that DTL was going to get a shout out. Apparently not. I'm just kidding. He was on there, though. It was a good interview. and I can't wait to see it. We're talking about the chat. We're going to have a Reagan watch party going out to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch the movie. It's going to be good. As for home run picks, I was going to go Marcell Ozuna. Excellent choice. I'll go Juan Soto. 4 Bills. Let's go.
Soto. Tony says after an 0-4 day yesterday, sometimes that's the best days to pick a big-time home runner after they go 0-3 or 0-4 the day before.
Can I say one thing, Coach?
Of course.
Everyone pay attention. You notice we haven't been talking about the weather for about 2.5 weeks. You notice home runs have decreased significantly across Major League Baseball, as have totals. Here's the bright spot. Next week, it's going to be hot as hell, and it's going to be the last one that you get, because then it's going to be all soupy weather up there in Connecticut and New York and all that. So next week, home runs, and then it's done.
All right. And just in time for us to focus on football and then the baseball playoffs. All right, let's do the whip around quickly. 1 nugget, 10 seconds or less on each play. Charles, you're up first.
The opening day of the Bundesliga, and we have Mönchengladbach, otherwise known as Gladbach, and Bayer Leverkusen. I'm going to back the both teams to score in over 2.5 goals. I see at least 3 here, and both teams getting on the scoreboard. And stay on your toes live play in La Liga, Celta Vigo, Valencia, the both teams to score.
DG.
It's ladies' night again. We're going to go with Angel Reese under 12.5 rebounds at -136. They've held her under that number the last 2 matchups this season. And we're going to go with Courtney Williams over 10.5 points, -125. She had 22 points against Las Vegas this past Wednesday, but she's averaging 16.3 points per game versus the Aces in this year.
Soupy, you're up.
Georgia Tech bringing back a fully intact offense against Florida State. That needs a lot of new offensive players. They keep this within single digits. And Chris Sale, 3 straight 10-plus strikeout games. He gets at least 8 today.
Boom. AB, 3 plays. Bring us home.
49ers Raiders over 32. Nationals Braves over 7.5. And then Saturday, Florida State, Georgia Tech live from Dublin, Ohio. Dublin, Ireland, under 55.5. And I want to leave everybody with this. As the weather gets colder, we talked about when it's real hot and muggy, batters have the advantage. Pitchers, grip is so important. And when you're sweating and it's 105 degrees, you can't fully get the grip. That's why they have rosin bags. Well, when it gets cold, they can grip the hell out of the baseball. And if you think Paul Skeens is tough to deal with now, it's going to be even worse. And I mean that for all your aces around. So as it gets colder, keep an eye on that. Those strikeouts, they're going to go up.
Continue to do the work. Continue to do the work. Gentlemen, great show as always today. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Soupy, we'll see you on DTL, the podcast. All right, it's time to wrap things up with the closing bell. All right, what did the crew choose today, AB?
Well, what used to be the battle of beautiful Alameda County, no longer now that the Raiders are in Las Vegas. But we're feeling the over. That's where the crew is going. 49ers Raiders over 32. That's one of my picks as well. So we're all literally in it together, and it's going to be a fun preseason game. When do you ever get to say that?
Oh, very, very rarely.
Two of the best uniforms in sports, by the way. The 49ers and Raiders uniforms are both phenomenal. Sorry, keep going.
It's kind of become a competition for teams. The more uniforms you can do, the more you can sell, and then the more money you make. So that's why they have so many of these. Real quick, I forgot to put my 2 plays out there. AB, it's Sanjay M over Sahith Tagala -115, and Xander over Patrick Cantlay -165. Those are my 2 plays. All right, AB, last Friday before we get to football Fridays. I'm pumped. You've been in the lab. Can't wait to see what you have cooking up. Have a great weekend, sir. All right.
Sure, you too.
All right. Producer man, thank you very much for the one shot. Oh, we still have so much more to do, and we're just getting started. We want to thank all of you for getting us through 23 of our 24 days to the NFL. One more day on Monday. So now, as you know, it's time for you to go out into the world. For you to pay it forward. Be kind to one another. Be honest with each other. That's the only way that this thing can work. And understand this, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my attack rate level, my man from the Dirty Charles. A man from Memphis, Tennessee, DG. Best beer in the game, Soupy. AB, my partner. Producer man, always behind the scenes. And I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here at Driving the Line. Good luck.